Well, hello again to another glorious Monday with me, Ducky, on Rambling About My Miniatures. It's the 20th of March, 2023, and I've done a lot of Greek figures. First, we have these columns, carded columns, which were not from the Bones 5 set. These are older bone sculpts, and they were just dry brushed and washed, very simply, to look like statues. Not much to say about them. Then we have little Kerberos here, furry hellhound, three-headed one, also kind of simple. I didn't go, I went for rather simple fur texture, as in, well, fur coloration, and just left it at that. Had some glowing eyes and some glowing red mouths, and that's about it. Then we did this Minotaur, and finally finished the Cyclops. Now, the Minotaur, for some reason, the skin tones for these turned out very similar. This is a very fleshy-looking Minotaur. Minotaurs generally don't have... Usually they're painted like cow-like hide, not with human-like skin, but in this time I went with the sort of bruised purple look that I tend to like for monsters. It's kind of unfortunate that I did the Cyclops pretty much exactly the same way. Now, they probably won't appear in a game together, so most people will probably recognize the similarity. But yeah, I kind of like this look. I finally finished the Cyclops. So this necklace is separate, as I said. This hand I can just pull off and insert the other hand, which is carrying the sheep. And I tried painting some kind of tattoos, some very simple stripes on his head and some sort of arrow patterns on his shoulders. I don't know, this one sort of didn't come out as I was expecting. I don't know what I was thinking. The plan didn't pan out, but you know, perhaps these tats are not the most professionally done. I mean, who would you get to tattoo a Cyclops? So, well, who knows? It's an attempt. It's an experiment. I'm learning, and hopefully I'll get better at it. But anyway, 7 minis done. That's not bad for 1 week. Next week will not be as good because I might as well tell you this up front. I'm going to be traveling a little bit. I'll be away from home 2 days during the week, and two of the days that I usually get more painted than some other days. So it's going to slow down my painting progress quite a lot. But something I think will get done at least. And yeah, well, let's have a look at the table where I have the projects that I hope might get done by next week. So works in progress include the hippogriff still, and these characters in the back, which I've only seen some work on the medals really. Those 4 are left over from before. Then we have the new rivals, which have been primed, the Argonauts, and the Clouds Giantess. I thought it would be interesting to pull out the old version of this model for comparison. So this is the Cloud Giantess they previously had, which I painted a while back. So the big difference here is, of course, size. You can see it's basically the same character, same sort of gear, relatively similar pose, a bit more, a bit stronger pose this time, not so much pin-up. But they have made her a lot bigger and provided a scenic base, because the base, I made this base for the old model. I added the chest and the grass and the like. There was just a spaghetti base. And the sizing up, I think, was needed because when you compare it to the other giant models, especially the ones in Reaper Bones, that Reaper make. This one is way too small, because in D&D, giants are supposed to be bigger the more powerful they are, and cloud giants are like the second most powerful, the second strongest type of giant, and this is way smaller than a lot of the frost and fire giants that I painted. The Reaper have made in various Reaper Bones campaigns. So this upgrade was definitely called for, and she's got more muscle definition this time as well. This one is again very much pinup, very much just a model, as in a fashion model. This one has some real some real muscle here showing. So it's an improvement, definitely, in every way, and I'm glad that I got it. Anyway, we'll see what I get done by next week, because as I mentioned, there will be less time to paint in the coming week, but we'll see if we can make some progress at least. Well, it's about outro time, and first let's do some inventory. I have 2 boxes here of hassle-free minis, and I don't exactly recall what I was thinking when I organized these, or if I did organize them at all, but it seems like I did organize them in the way that these are all fantasy minis, and this box contains metal, and there's 21 of them, 21 metal figures, like, for instance, the young wolf, which is like a young Conan. We have Octavia Amser, who's a wizardess. We have Kaylee, who's sort of a female barbarian, and so on. And then here we have the resin casts, which this is another Conan type with ladies hanging onto his legs. Here's a more running barbarian. Here's another female barbarian with a sword raised high, and so forth. And I think the idea is these are the sort of normal resin casts from Hassle-Free, not the resin masters. They have a series of figures that sell at a higher price point called resin masters, which are supposedly the very best resin casts from the master molds, and I have a bunch of those. I have over time decided that I prefer metal. Anyway, I mean, the advantage of resin when well cast, when well made, is that it holds detail better, and specifically it's smoother surface, because the thing with metal is that the surface is always slightly pitted. There's always micro pitting some way, and this is most noticeable when you have like bare skin. It will never look perfectly smooth. If you look really closely at it, there will be a slight roughness to the texture. But on a resin cast, you can get it perfectly smooth. Now, this is only meaningful if you're painting for display. If you're painting for tabletop, it doesn't really matter. And the added sort of durability of the metal, because resin is a little bit more fragile. Even if this is good resin, so it's not brittle, it's not that sort of dry resin that snaps at the touch of a finger. There's some flex to it, but still, it won't stand up to abuse the way metal will. So I have over time come to prefer metal in any case. But I have all these minis, and it's like I said, 21 metal minis, 18 resin minis, so I'm cataloging 39 more models for my inventory. Now, what am I going to paint the coming week? Well, these. I'm going into the fan favorites expansion box now, which is the final part of Bones 5, the Kickstarter. When this is done, I will be almost completely done, except for the few that I've put aside for other projects. But like 99% of the models of the Kickstarter will be finished when I'm through this box. And you can see here on the cover we have the pièce de résistance, which is the Demogorgon by another name. It's called the Tentacle Lasher or something, or Lasher Demon or whatever. On the sides, we have a couple of models I've already painted. This Necromancer and this Wraith here. I don't know if you can see it. I've already painted those last October. On the back here, we have a variety of stuff that I haven't painted yet. One of them, this collection of chickens, I have picked out for painting, prepping for next week. They're basically prepped already. There's like almost no mold lines here. I just have to clean them a bit. And so we have a spike-shelled turtle person, perhaps, with a big axe. We have this swarm of chickens. We have a goblin carrying a sack with something in it. And we have a couple of a male and a female lion person. I think they are supposed to be rakshasas, especially the dude has his hands in that opposite way. So if you they might look normal at first glance, but if you look here, his thumb is on the outside, which is an example of how Rakshasa's hands are like twisted around. I'm not sure if this one had, yeah, this one is also thumb on the outside, the female one. So yeah, Rakshasas. Doesn't really matter. Most people won't think about that. You just paint them as lion people and call it a day. Anyway, these 5 smaller minis are what I'm prepping for next week, because I don't think the bigger projects will be completed by then. I'll still have the giantess to paint. So, that was it for today, for this week. Thank you for joining me. Please like and subscribe and share and comment and all that stuff. And above all, I'll be back here next week. Same day of the week, same channel, same Dakian. Right now, I'm signing off.